I can't bingo card joke hard enough. You know, I can't I can't properly express how unreal this is. And it's funny because like there was a lot of really unreal stuff in that Nintendo Direct. Open world Mario Kart, okay. You know, 3D DK that looks everything as good as like a 3D Mario, sure. Sandbox, sure. A new Kirby Air Ride, all right. Yeah. Metroid Prime 4 running in 4K, 120 FPS or whatever, like, sure. But like, what reality? Just I don't know. What reality are we living in here, where, like, it's a Nintendo Direct. It's not just a Nintendo Direct. It's the Switch 2 Direct. This is literally like the Switch 2's first impression. You know, we had the reveal. It was a little bit, but this is it. This is the real thing. What does Switch 2 have to offer? What is its identity, and what are the games that we're gonna be playing within like the first year? This is it. This hour. So not only is Elden Ring the first third-party game shown, it's the first one. You can see it in my reaction. I'm literally like, they're like, here's some third-party games. And I'm like, Elden Ring. And then it's why? It's just why? It's so funny. I'm a big Nintendo fan, but in the last few years, I've not like drifted, but like my interests, I have acquired new, like real obsessive interests. And like FromSoft games. They're like my other like favoritist thing in the entire world is like Dark Souls and Elden Ring. So for just that to be represented, it's just like, what is it? It's not my birthday. I don't have a magic lamp or something. So yeah, already Elden Ring, for whatever reason, it's the very first game shown off. But then, among all that third-party stuff, most of it is, ports of older games that already exist. But then we do get an original, a Switch 2 exclusive game by a third-party partner developer, not Nintendo, from someone else entirely, making a game exclusively for the Switch 2. And it's a FromSoft game. It is a FromSoft style FromSoft game. I can't believe it. I can't believe that we're watching the Nintendo Direct, the first one for the Switch 2, and there's this long, like, dark, weird, new FromSoft game trailer, and it's coming exclusively to Switch 2. I don't know. I don't get it. Sometimes things line up for you in a way that just seems unnecessary. It's almost just like too good. Did you really have to cater to me? so exactly? And obviously I know FromSoft games have gotten really big. It is a big deal. I don't know. It was so surprising. That said, though, unfortunately, we still have to wait and see about some stuff for this game. I'll talk about the specifics more in a bit here, but I will just say, oh boy, this might end up being something really cool. And there is at least a chance that it will end up being not cool. It may end up being one of the most just disappointing about faces I've ever experienced. Just like pure hype whiplash, bait and switch. There's a chance that this is actually a really, really humongous disappointment, at least compared to the initial reveal and how exciting that was. But again, we'll talk about that in a moment. Right now, let's just focus on the trailer and what it seems to communicate, to show us. It is amazing because this game, like it's every bit FromSoft, and it's not just that. Boy, it really does seem to share a lot of DNA with Bloodborne, which is particularly funny because, you know, FromSoft made Bloodborne for Sony, and that was like 10 years ago, and Sony has refused to give it a sequel, give it a remaster, a remake, not even so much as a performance patch to run better on newer hardware, not even PS4 Pro, not even that one. And now it's PS5, and now it's PS5 Pro, and we still cannot play the game in anything other than its original form. And it's baffling, and they won't do anything with the IP, even though it's got so many fans, even though now, since that game came out, FromSoft has exploded in popularity thanks to Elden Ring. All these series, these games have just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's just so funny that FromSoft, they had this big deal with Sony, this multi-game deal to make exclusives for PlayStation. And now they're over here making this game that is very Bloodborne coded, very Bloodborne-esque for Nintendo. And I really want to know that story. Who approached who? Whom approached whom? Who approached whom? I don't know how it works. It's so surprising. It's so weird. But yeah, I know I'm a fake fan. I still haven't played Bloodborne. It's because I'm kind of savoring it. I'm waiting until I really have a lot of time. I've been kind of playing through these games little by little. I still got to finish Dark Souls 3. But even I can tell, this game feels pretty Bloodborne. There's a lot of Bloodborne feel. There's even like a hunter person riding. I mean, they've got the hat and everything. You know, it's this dark, grim kind of city thing. It does look a little bit more modern. You have like trains and stuff, which is cool. Golly, it's really, really cool. I love the environments. Again, it's a FromSoft game on a Nintendo system, but it's not more Nintendo-y, you know? It really is just a FromSoft game. Every inch of this trailer, every single bit, every drop is just pure dark fantasy FromSoft style awesomeness. And there's a lot of little details, even like mechanically. There's some weird stuff. There's like this armor guy who has a jetpack and like flies around, which is neat. There's like a vampire guy. It shows him leaping off a cliff, kind of Night Rain style. Elden Ring Night Rain comes out this May. And, next month. And it introduced, you can jump off a cliff and not take damage. And that seems to be the same thing here. It even shows the vampire guy kind of like jumping around, kind of gliding around. So there's a lot more like kind of platforming. Hey, maybe you could say that makes it a little more Nintendo-y. Put a little more platforming in there. I could appreciate that. Shows him like shooting a gun. That's cool. Shows him like sucking an enemy's blood at some point to like presumably steal, like sucks into him, and so that's pretty cool. Who knows what kind of mechanic that might be. There are a number of characters, a bunch of other cool characters, weird ones. There's like a weird little like school child kind of ghost getup. It's strange and lots of different abilities. It's like a dinosaur. Come on, a FromSoft game with a dinosaur. I like it. A weird kind of monster dinosaur getting summoned, and I don't know, that's really cool. So like, yeah, I don't know, in terms of just weird mechanics and just variety, there's a lot going on here, and the world itself really does look terrific. It looks big. There's like this city thing, and it's kind of down in a pit. It's very vertical. I really, really do like that. Like, basically, I like everything I see. I think every bit of this looks really, really terrific. And then, of course, just the design, FromSoft, they're so good at making these horrific monsters. And it makes the bosses just that much more enjoyable to fight when they are the more monstrous the more just yucky, the better. I love it. And again, it's everything you could want from just these horrible, nasty creatures. I just cannot wait for them to just kill me over and over and over again. And yeah, and then like at the very end, it shows a like a rat person with wings, like crow wings or something, like waking up. I don't even like what is that? I don't know. This trailer, it really shows a lot of really just kind of specific stuff. And you know, of course, the beginning of the trailer. Sorry to jump around. At first, like we had no idea what was even being shown. Just kind of shows a guy slumped in a chair, and this weird like ghostly hand comes up and touches his hand, and when it comes away, he's got like a mark on his hand. Like, I don't know. It's really laying on the weirdness. And I like it. I like it. I really just like everything I've seen here. And apparently the game is coming in 2026. I don't know how late into 2026, but that is one of the few projects revealed here that's not coming out in 2025, which is a shame, but you know, whatever. Night Rain is coming out this year, so I suppose it makes sense. They would want to wait until next year to release another game. But here's where we get to the worrisome part. Throughout the trailer, you can see that there are a number of different characters, and then at one point you could even see they like summon someone, and that's not weird, you know, summoning a friend. That's a very common thing, but this seems to be kind of like Night Rain style, because yeah, the idea of Night Rain is that it's like Elden Ring, but they've kind of boiled it down into kind of a roguelike, kind of run-based thing. It's multiplayer co-op between 3 people, and the arena shrinks, and you have to beat 3 bosses. And in regular FromSoft games, generally, you can create a character starting with a class, and you know you can outfit them with any weapons and abilities and whatnot. So you kind of tweak your character to meet your needs in your own style. But then in Night Rain, instead, there are like heroes, you know, where each one has their own stats and their own weapon and abilities and whatnot. And this does seem to be kind of going along with that. There are a number of different characters that we see here that seem to have their own styles, which could suggest that this is another multiplayer thing, or it could just be that you could, you know, pick a character. It could still be like a single player thing, but you get to just like pick one of these characters. Like it was possible. So I'm all excited. I'm all excited about the game, and then I start hearing some stuff, and I start getting messages from people about it. A friend of mine, Brendan, he's a writer and editor over at GameSpot. If you're listening, hey, what's up? Hey, buddy. We were talking because he's a fellow FromSoft enjoyer, and he broke the news to me. There's a little blurb about the game on the FromSoft website, and it reads as follows. Developed for the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2, the Dusk Bloods is a PvPvE title with online multiplayer at its core, where up to 8 players vie for supremacy among themselves and against challenging foes. Play as the Bloodsworn, funny, sounds like Bloodborne, a group that has transcended human strength thanks to their special blood, and throw yourself into a violent fray for first blood as the twilight of humanity approaches. Genre, multiplayer action. So, Night Rain is cool. The idea of like multiplayer Elden Ring, FromSoft, Dark Souls kind of thing, it's not a bad idea. In Night Rain, you know, like a lot of people are skeptical of it. I played the network test, and I did think it was cool as its own thing. Definitely. But certainly not a replacement for a true single player FromSoft experience. Or I mean, you know, they all have multiplayer elements, but the idea is that you can play single player. I vastly prefer to play single player. It's not a replacement. It's a nice supplemental. So believing that they were going to give us a brand new original FromSoft game for Switch 2, and then learning that it might just be like a competitive multiplayer game. It's yeah, it hurts. It certainly does. You know, the real true FromSoft experience is you start out and you're weak and you just got to go through this world, beat all the enemies, beat all the bosses, get stronger, get to the end. That's it. That's the grind. That's the challenge. So if it really does end up just because, you know, Night Rain is it's a multiplayer Elden Ring, but it's cooperative. Okay. So was this really just their outlet for a competitive multiplayer FromSoft experience? You know, they got it in them that they wanted to do to experiment more with multiplayer stuff. And this was their way to just make it a little bit more competitive. It does say PvPvE. And again, in the trailer, it does show someone summoning another player. So there may be cooperative elements. It didn't really show, I mean, unless I missed it. I'm trying not to watch too closely because of spoilers, but I don't know if it showed multiple characters fighting each other. It could be something where the idea is that you're fighting the enemies, but then at the end, you kind of have to duke it out that ultimately one person will reign supreme. I don't know. And again, that's not a bad idea overall. It's not like that can't be good. It's not like there's no value in that. That could still be a really fun experience. I don't, if it's competitive, I probably won't because I'm not a good player. You know, co-op, I might be able to scrape by, but I'm not going to be competing against other people. Again, I never play online. But if that's all the game is, then that is essentially none of what I want. It's essentially none of what I want from a FromSoft game. And maybe if it had been presented like this from the start, it wouldn't hurt so much. But seeing that trailer and just like the unreality of it, imagining that we're going to get a Switch 2 exclusive FromSoft game, but then learning that it's potentially just like a competitive multiplayer game. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to hold out at least a shred of hope that it's optional. There are plenty of games where it's, you know, Nintendo's made plenty of games like this where it's built with multiplayer in mind, but you can play alone. You know, look at a Super Mario 3D World. I play that alone. I played it with friends too, but like it's perfectly fine to play alone. It's fun. Could that be this? Could there still be a mode where you can just go yourself and go and beat all of the monsters and the bosses and get stronger and fight your way to the end? Maybe, perhaps. I guess that's not super likely because if you're fighting against other people and you want to be the winner, then these have to be like shorter matches. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a real, like I said, it's some real hype whiplash. It could be something really incredibly exciting, unreal, something I never would have imagined, and it could also be a great big can of nothing, great big can of disappointment for myself. I mean, I don't know, maybe I would still try it. Maybe. I really don't know. I'm really not good at these games. If it comes down to it and I'm fighting another person, I'm not gonna win. So, like, what kind of value could I really get from a game like this? I don't know. But in a few days, we're gonna get like a developer interview kind of thing with Miyazaki himself. So hopefully that'll clear some stuff up. At least for now, yeah, I don't even know if I'm cautiously optimistic. I think I just gotta stop thinking about it. You know, it was exciting for those minutes when I thought it was exactly what I wanted. I don't know. We'll see. It's still a good surprise. You can't take that away from me, at least. At the very least, there was always that time when I thought that it was a cool thing. It was at least, it made watching the direct that much more exciting. I mean, come on. reveal for 3D DK and a Switch 2 exclusive FromSoft game. Come on, that's pretty cool.